You look so good.
Thank you. This is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show tonight at the 20th anniversary of the Newport Beach Film Festival for the premiere of the documentary film Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s with actress and host of Last Rockers TV on YouTube, Erin Micklow. Erin, you were picked to hold a Rancid record in this movie. Now tell me about that.
Well, Taylor reached out and he was just like, hey, do you want to film some stuff for some B-roll, just because I'm such a big Rancid fan, and my husband and I have been friends with the band for a long time, so I guess he thought of me since Tim is narrating the project, and I was really happy to do it because And Out Come the Wolves was such an amazing album. It's one of my favorites. It was the first Rancid album I bought, so it was really cool to be asked to be a part of that.
Now, you have a show, you've been doing it for a while, I guess, and it's doing pretty good. On YouTube. Now tell me about that. Do you have sponsors, or how does that work?
No, it's painfully DIY, and it's so funny because your videos always come up in my suggestions too. And that was when we had first met. You had introduced yourself as a makeup artist, and you mentioned you had a show, but I hadn't seen it. And then kind of when I started my channel, yours were always coming up because, like, I would, for instance, search for an artist, because when I'm preparing for an interview, I like to get a feel for how artists are on camera. You know, are they going to give me a really fucking hard time? Are they going to be chill? Are they kind of quiet? And like I would search for them, and then yours would always come up, and it was like all these interviews, and I was like, oh, I remember being at that show, and it was just so cool. But my show's about a year, almost 2 years old now, so it's still pretty young. It's painfully DIY. I do not have sponsors. I do all the editing myself. Really? I do everything myself, and I mean, I kind of hate it sometimes, but I also really love it because I have full control over the finished product, which, I mean, I was just talking to Soma over here saying I want to like kind of spend the time to step up my game with my editing and some production values, and I've had a lot of people around me encouraging that and trying to help me out.
And you do good.
Thanks.
You know, and the people like you. They like you a lot. And I think
the people that like me, and the people that hate me really hate me.
I don't know anybody who hates you. It doesn't look like these men you're sitting with are hating you at all.
Yeah.
The people you're interviewing.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, YouTube is a platform that I myself am still learning. I mean, I would say I'm best versed in the platform of Instagram. Obviously, that's where I carry the most weight of my viewers. But YouTube, actually, it was like at the beginning of this year, I guess they decided to throw me a bone or whatever. Somebody had reached out from YouTube because they saw that my channel was, you know, the numbers were growing exponentially. And so they reached out and they did like a 30-minute phone call with me about how to help my channel. And then it's like, it's kind of annoying and it sucks because like when you reach certain numbers, they'll unlock features for you. And it's like, if you're not at those numbers, you're not privy to those features. For instance, like stories or like the community board. And it's so, I don't know, it's just crazy. Same with Instagram. It's like, you know, you're trying to get ahead and you want to do more things, but then they're only unlocking these features to people who have X number of subscribers or followers or whatever. So it's just hustling, I guess. Yeah, you've been doing this a lot longer. Yeah, I mean, you even had a cable access show at one point.
So altogether, I've been doing my show for 23 years.
Yeah.
Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s. What's important about it to you?
I mean, I just grew up with a lot of these bands. I mean, even before knowing it, I mean, when I got dressed tonight, this outfit, I was like, oh my God, this is so Mighty Mighty Bosstones / Clueless. And that movie came out when, you know, I was a young child and I didn't know who the Bosstones were yet, but I remember it really stuck with me seeing Dickie Barrett on the stage performing, and he's making these faces, and then he's like, you know, and then Ben, the dancing guy, is dancing all around, you know, and I was just like, what is this? What am I? And I didn't know what it was, but it's like those things being ingrained in me in such an early age, and then coming of age and finding out what they were, seeing those bands, interviewing those bands, and it's just so crazy because it's been something that's been there all along. You know, I mean, and ska is just such a huge part of the punk community too. I mean, I consider myself more a punk rocker, but you know, there's so many like ska influences in a lot of punk bands. Like Rancid is a punk band, but there's a lot of ska there. And then, you know, there's like the full-on ska bands. Like last year, Back to the Beach was like the crazy 90s ska party, and it was so fun. The ska community is very friendly, you know? Everyone's happy.
And then let's not forget The Clash with their reggae, which kind of gave birth along with the Specials.
Yeah. I never got to see them. It was a lot before my time. I mean, I listened to The Clash and I love them. But again, it was before my time. Never got to see them live. By the time I had even started listening to them, Joe Strummer was already dead. So, unfortunately.
I saw them open for The Who. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I would think that was really cool. You know, like the Ramones is another band I never got to see that I've always would be on my wish list, you know, if there was a band to see, the Ramones.
That's it, but you got to hang out with Linda Ramone.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I've seen you've interviewed her several times.
Yeah. Listen, I wish you much success in your career.
So good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much.
The Blairing Out Show.